Geeks Gone Raw.
I just want to say, this stuff I'm vaping on right now is disgusting. It's not disgusting. It's just not what I like at all.
It's just not good. It's not what you used to.
Is this stuff right here? It's called Jam Monster, right? And Jam Monster it has a whole bunch of different kinds of fruit jam flavors.
I've had some of them before. I didn't really like them too much.
Yeah, because I saw the fruit. And I'm like, cool, I want to try the fruit. I didn't read the rest of the description that said it's jam on buttered bread. Buttered toast. The buttered toast is the part that I'm just kind of like, ugh. Kind of tastes a little bit, because of the buttered toast, it kind of tastes a little bit like popcorn.
It's not so bad.
But it doesn't. You know, it still has a little bit. It tastes like popcorn, but you get that toast part on the exhale. Yeah, like it's cool. On the inhale, it tastes fine, but on the exhale, when you get that toast, you're just like, I don't know if I want to vape toast.
I vape toast.
Yeah. I'm gonna tell you. I mean, there's been some really good flavors that I loved. But like once you like, it's like, I really love this flavor, but like once you vape it, you realize that it's not the best thing for you to want to basically smoke. Like,
so it's like you're at the vape shop, whatever. You're like, well, that sounds like a good combination. I've eaten that before or whatever, but then smoking it is, or vaping it is a different thing.
Yeah. I mean, it's okay. So, There's this vape juice that I went and I bought this from the store, and I tried it in the store, and it was like I was going to buy a tank, which is, the top part, this part. I was going to buy a tank, and I was in the store, and they were having a sale. They just came out with a new flavor, and it was fruit punch. And they had a tester. You could, you get a little tip and you try it, and it was just like, wow, this actually tastes really good. So I was like, you know what? Let me get that. So I got some and I took it home, and like, with the tester, you don't really sit with it for very long. You just try it, see what it tastes like. And, shit tastes like fucking fruit punch. And you're like, damn, this really tastes like fruit punch, until you get home and you have the whole rest of the fucking bottle and you realize you don't want warm fruit punch. Like, it really tasted like fruit punch. I mean, it tasted like some. I mean,
well, like, since we are talking about some vape a little bit, I was going to wait till we do another vape podcast, but I really wanted to show you this shit. Like, I had got the mag, right, and then the main reason is for the mod. Like, I already had
Are you recording this?
Yeah.
Okay. Cool.
The main reason is for the mod. The tank was a kind of a bonus because it was a package deal. But Amber's like, you really need to try that tank, but I just put a new coil into my Firelink, so I just went ahead and used the Firelink and had the other tank in the box. Plus, when I opened it up, I was like, that thing is huge. I've never seen a tank that fucking big. Okay, this is the Firelink right here, like for you, because listeners can't see. But this is...
That's a big one. What is that? Was that a TF16?
I'm not sure what it is. I haven't read the box, but that's not really fun. But yeah, it's a good tank. I just never fucking take that.
Or is it just a TF? Is usually they switched over to just calling them TFs, but there's either a TF or a TF-16.
It says it's a TFV-16 tank, 9 milliliters.
Yep. Those are a big but the thing about the TF series is once they change their coils, you get hella clouds.
Yeah.
And the flavor has been different because like smoke tanks. I know some people call it smoke. I still call it smoke. Their tanks are notorious for having really shitty coils.
Yeah.
And when they redesigned the TF series, they really came through with some good coils for a change.
Because I think that's why I hate a tank so much is because, for a tank, the smokes were basically the top of the line, but the cools were shitty, and they would always leak, and I was just like, fuck cools, I'm just using my RDA. And then I found that fire luke, and I was like, holy shit, I finally found a tank I like,
Yeah.
But this thing's awesome.
For my big baby beast, I started using Vapresso mesh coils. And because the Vapresso coils, the GT coils actually fit in a big baby beast or a baby beast or whatever you want to call it.
Mm-hmm.
Whichever one you have, the Vapresso coils fit. And that's how I ended up with this Revenger. Is because I put this came with a tank that used those same coils. So I was like, well, I might as well get a Vapresso whole setup because I was already using their coils in my baby beast.
Yeah.
So, yeah. All right. So y'all ready?
Yeah.
Sure.
I'll start us off. What's up, everybody? This is Scarcasm. I'm Crucial Chase. We have Scarfinger in the building.
What's up, dog?
And we have featuring the podcasting legend Sam.
Oh, don't do that. I know what you're referencing. So stop. No, hey, what's up, everybody? I'm sitting here chilling in my sweatpants and socks and ready to go.
Y'all lucky. You talking about you in sweatpants, but like, bruh, if you like, y'all don't know, like, if like my daughter wasn't here, where she's like directly behind me, sometimes I'd be sitting here in my drawers. I just got on a shirt so that y'all don't see my nips or anything. But I'd be sitting here in my drawers, just chilling.
Well, AC is a thing that it's actually very necessary here in Texas. So, yeah, I'm just chilling in the AC in my sweatpants, chilling.
Oh yeah, I mean, bruh, it's been so hot. Now I know we don't have the same kind of hot, like because we the Virginia and North Carolina hot comes with a shit ton of humidity. Like, it's like, you know what I mean? Like, we're from a place where the number system might consist of 1, 2, and a shitload, but like we have a shitload of humidity around here, and like that's a whole different kind of hot.
Yeah, our temperature.
We've been getting that lately here, like in the last week for some reason. I think it has to do with some tropical storm or something nearby or something. I don't know.
Yeah. I saw one that was in the Gulf. There was some storm that was around the Gulf.
Like a tropical depression. It's like a hurricane, but it's just really sad.
Yeah.
Shut up, Chase.
I hate you. So it's a different kind of hot, but it's been like consistently 90s for the past couple of weeks, and it is really stinking hot around here. It's like, and like for me to have a car without AC is the absolute worst. Like, my AC doesn't work. Like, my driver's side window works when it fucking feels like it. Like, it's a bad situation all around. Like, I was this close.
You come out, you got your, like a rag, you just come out the car just patting down.
Yeah, no, I mean, for real. I mean, it wasn't as bad as it used to be, because, like, at one point, I worked, I lived in Hampton, I believe, and I drove to Norfolk for when I used to work during the summer at Olin Mills. This is years ago. And in order to go there, you got to take a tunnel. One time I got stuck in the tunnel and it was like 90 something degrees outside. I got stuck in the tunnel. Something was happening, and I was going like 15 in the tunnel. And it was 90 something degrees outside. So you know what I did? I just completely, my fat ass just took my shirt completely off. Because if I would have left my shirt on, like I would have been soaking wet by the time I actually made it to work. So I just took my damn shirt off. So my fat ass is sitting in the damn tunnel going 15 miles per hour. Like, can we please just go? Like, and the weird thing about the tunnel is, like, for the most part, the main tunnels around here are straight. And people freak out about the tunnel so much. It's just like, yo, just drive straight. It's just straight. Go straight. And the worst part about having to be in the tunnel is, in most cases, soon as you get on the other side of the tunnel, traffic's just fucking fine. So it's just people freaking the fuck out in the tunnel. And that shit drove me insane when I was back home. Just like, yo, can you please stop freaking out in the fucking tunnel and just drive straight? All you gotta do is just go straight. There's no curves. There's no nothing. You're just going straight, and people keep fucking that up. Oh, that's one thing I don't miss about being at home. That's definitely one thing I do not miss about being at home at all. But yeah, man, it's been so hot, man. Like,
I haven't mowed the lawn in like a while, and like it's like our lawn, the actual grass is not really the problem. It's all the weeds and stuff. I need to like de-weed next year, I think, but I just didn't figure out how to do that and what kind of killer to get or whatever. But I know you're not supposed to, if the grass is wet, it can mess up your mower, and plus it doesn't cut good because it's all laying down. And like, it's either hot as hell or the next day it's raining. Hot as hell, next day it's raining. And it's like, I haven't had a chance to where I'm comfortable to where, yeah, I'm not going to want to get out there at 98 degrees, and it be like 75% humidity and probably mess up the lawnmower,
Well, yeah, I've
been there before.
For like these past months or so, I've had a thing where like I can't even smell like grass of any kind, or else I'll just start, sneezing like a crazy person. So we've hired people to come and cut the grass, and $20 each time, and we're straight.
Nice.
Yeah, I've been there too. I cutting the grass is my number one least favorite thing to do around the house. In that when I actually had a house, like it was 100% like I can't do this. I don't want to do this. Like wearing masks and all kinds of stuff, like it doesn't help how fucking terrible of a situation that is for me. So at one point I was paying somebody to just cut the grass. I was just like, look, dog, $20, like do your thing.
And plus our backyard is so hilly, and there's like weirdly set bushes. I don't know how the previous owners had it. They probably had some sort of plan, but right now it just seems like bush here, here's one, here's a clothesline, the wells here, and then there's hills, and it's just like you can't just go up and down the hills because there's bushes and stuff in your way. But if I'm not going up and down the hills, I feel like I'm about to flip the lawnmower because it's really too much of a slant for me to be on a riding lawnmower. So it's a bitch,
Yeah, I don't have to worry about none of that shit now. Thank goodness. Now my least favorite thing to do is washing dishes. And I do wash dishes, but I absolutely hate it every single time.
Really, because washing dishes for me is kind of therapeutic. Just sit there with the suds, have a podcast on or something, or watch something on the iPad or whatever, and just sit there. You're just alone with your thoughts for a minute. It's cool. I like it.
I don't like being alone with my thoughts. If you had any idea what my thoughts were, you wouldn't want to be alone with these shits either.
Well, see, that's when you put the podcast on. See.
All right, so I've been listening to some podcasts. There's one podcast that I've been listening to, and they do these like multiple story. They do seasons, and every season is a different story or whatever. and it's called Slow Burn. And one of the thing, it was about Biggie and Tupac's deaths. That's when I started, and then there's been all kinds of different stories and stuff like that. But this current one is about David Duke.
The KKK dude?
Yes, it's about David Duke, and I was like, at first I was just like, man, I don't want to listen to a podcast about David Duke, like, you know what I mean, like. But the crazy part about this is, it talks about like, you know, him, but it also talks about like running for like local offices and like trying to be a senator and all of this kind of stuff.
Oh yeah, he was doing all that once upon a time. I remember.
Yes. And he is, his campaigns are very, very, very similar. Like when you listen to like the rallies and stuff like that and what the actual people are saying, it's very, very similar to Trump. Like, it is eerily reminiscent of like, holy shit, this is the presidential campaign in 2016. You know what I mean? Like, this is exactly what that is.
Yeah, he would make statements like, "Oh, we're gonna fix America. We're gonna do this and do that." It's the same kind of rhetoric that 45 does. Yeah.
Yep. It was basically his local campaign. The first one was basically make Louisiana great again.
Wow.
Like it definitely was that. It was.
Yeah, I wonder how like things are going to be looked back upon. Like, you know, like when we were kids, you know, we also aren't paying attention to current things. So I'm pretty sure that things were going on when we were younger too, like, you know, LA riots and all that stuff. But but we also, to me, it just seemed like, well, you know, all this bad shit was in the past, you know, like with Martin Luther King and like the civil rights movement and all this stuff. But you obviously saw there was the bad guys and then there was the good guys, and the good guys are reason we have what we have today. But there was also people on that side. So I was wondering, we know people on the opposite side that we think, is it going to be in the future to where people are going to be like, oh man, would see like someone like Trump as, or someone like I don't know, like what's his name, YouTube dude, Alex Jones, as like people that are in the past, and you know what I mean? It's kind of weird, like, to think about.
I think it's one of those things to where it's like we try to say that some of these things are in the past and things are different. Like there was a lot of that happened after Obama got elected, but like as we see now, like all of these things that we thought were in the past are still here and they're still strong. You know what I mean? What movie was that? That was that Antoine Fisher? Okay, never mind. I guess I'm the only person who knows that movie.
I saw Antoine Fisher one time, and I was just like, I think I fell asleep.
Yeah, I think it was one of those. But it's one of those things to where it's like, you know, you would think that we have gotten past some of this stuff. But like at the end of the day, like, a lot of this stuff, especially with like the racism and police brutality and all that kind of stuff, like this shit ain't that old. Like, you know what I mean? Like Ruby Bridges is in her 60s. Like if anybody knows who Ruby Bridges is, like Ruby Bridges was, she was a little girl and she was, one of the first people to integrate schools in the South. And like they had to call the National Guard for this lady to go to school. And
yeah, I remember seeing a picture, I think it was on Erasing Hate, and I it said the date and whatnot, and I was like, and I don't comment on a lot of stuff, but I did comment there to where I posted that from when this picture was taken, the difference between this picture and 1997 is the same as 1997 and now.
Yeah, because like, you know, like you would think like when school integration happened, that when you think about that stuff and like how there were people resistant to black people going to their schools and stuff like that, you think like this is like a long time ago. And like, you know what I mean? Like, this is like, like it almost feels like ancient, and like the civil rights movement feels like ancient, but like we're talking about like, Ruby Bridges is 65. You know what I mean? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like the idea that like when people talk about the civil rights movement and people talk about like, well, your ancestors had to deal with this. You are not your ancestors. Like, bitch, you mean my grandma? You know what I mean? Like, what are you talking about? My grandma had to deal with this shit. Like, you know what I mean? You make, like, sometimes when we think about it, we think about like everything, like it's so far in the past. And then you realize with some of this stuff, like it's still here and it's still very much present. I saw an article today that a Publix near me, had a lady who lost her shit, like completely lost her shit, because a young brother, like 15, 16 years old, was working in Publix and he tried to bag her groceries. She lost her shit.
What? Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, this happened this weekend. Like we're not talking about this happening years ago. This happened this weekend. Lost her shit because a young black man tried to bag her groceries, and then so like he went to go talk to the manager. Was like, yo, she told me, and he was like, man, just go do something else. So he go outside and starts corralling carts. This lady tries to run him the fuck over in her car on her way out of fucking Publix. Like this shit happened this weekend. Like, you know what I mean? Like this shit happened on Saturday, I believe, Friday or Saturday. Like this shit just happened. Like losing your shit because a black person wants to bag your groceries, a black person that works at the grocery store. Like,
did you see the people in Walmart with the face mask on, but they had swastikas on it?
No, I didn't see that one.
Yeah, that was a thing. Well, there was that one guy who they told him to put a mask on, and he put on a KKK hood. You know, he said he did it to prove a point. Okay.
Oh, the KKK hood dude in the grocery store. The weirdest part about that story is not just that part. The KKK hood is not the weird part about that story. You want to know the weirdest part about that story?
What, did he have one to begin with?
Nope. The shit was in San Francisco. Like, really? That's the weird part of that fucking story. Wow. They have it in San Francisco. Like, so like.
Of all the places.
What the fuck is going on where someone just readily has a KKK hood in San Francisco, which is like the liberal bastion of the world. Like, you know what I mean? That shit just seemed kind of weird. And then there was
I know there's a I know there's a documentary where there is like a pretty much kind of like a racist wing of San Francisco. So that, I mean, conservatism and stuff still does exist over there, like racism and stuff. You just don't ever see it.
You know, it's not hard to imagine that something like that could happen in San Francisco because they're a bridge away from Oakland.
Right.
Like San Francisco and Oakland are separated by one bridge. So like, you know, like the idea of like being in Oakland, like we ain't even talking about like anything like, you know what I mean? Like we're not talking about like I'm pretty sure there's parts of Oakland that are not what we think of when we think of Oakland, but those two places are separated by a bridge. And like the thought like immediately is just like, ooh, Oakland, ooh. You know what I mean? Kind of like how the rest of this country thinks about Chicago. I don't understand the Chicago thing. At all. People keep coming back to Chicago and like, you know, the president wants to send goons to Chicago to clean up Chicago and stuff like that. And all
because that's all you see in the media. That's why.
Yeah. And the crazy part about it is, right? And I heard one of my coworkers talking about Chicago being bad and a whole bunch of people getting killed in the weekend, you know, like how they talk about Chicago. And like, when you look at the stats, as far as crime goes, Chicago's not even top 10.
Weren't there like parts of Virginia at one point that were like really, really bad?
Oh yeah. At one point Richmond was the murder capital. But see, here's what I was going to say. when you think about all crime, right? And this is the last list that I saw. I don't know how updated the list has been, but this is like last year or year before, one of those. They list the most dangerous cities in the country, and Chicago was 16th as far as like dangerous cities in the country.
Oh, wow.
You want to know who's always hovering around number one that no one ever fucking talks about? St. Louis. St. Louis is always hovering around one. No one ever fucking talks about St. Louis. We all just talk about Chicago, and Chicago is 16th on that list. You want to know what's 14th on that list? Richmond.
Really?
Fucking Richmond. Like people around here talk shit about Chicago, and y'all are 2 up from Chicago, closer to the top.
Now, I remember when I was growing up, I'd always heard it was Gary, Indiana. It was like murder capital of the world. But that must have been just in the 90s. I don't know.
Yeah, that is it's a, if you look at the top of those lists, in the real tops of those lists, it's always these like small towns that no one really hears very much about, like the Gary, Indianas, like some places in like Alabama, Mississippi, and stuff like that no one ever thinks about. It's not the big cities, like with the exception of like St. Louis. You know what I mean? Like it's not the big cities that are at the top of this list. It's all of these little poor places where they used to have something like a fucking a factory or something like that, and then the fucking factory closed, and now all of these people are stuck there and can't leave and don't have anything else better to do. Like it's like Detroit, you know what I mean? Like Detroit is a really fucked up place because they had all of these fucking car jobs, and then these plants started closing and sending shit overseas, and then you got a whole bunch of people living in poverty because they used to make good money working at the plant, but the plant closed.
Right.
Like those are the places where it's like the worst places ever. Like the idea that we keep coming back to Chicago is fucking stupid. And it's just like, I just don't understand how we just decided that Chicago is that place that we talk about. Like, how do we get here? How do we get here, and how do we get away from this and focus on where it needs to go? St. Louis. How about we go to St. Louis and figure out what the fuck's going on in St. Louis? Because like, I figured that St. Louis would come a little bit more to the forefront. You want to know when I thought St. Louis would come more to the forefront?
When's that?
Ferguson. When Ferguson happened, which is right by St. Louis, when Ferguson happened, we thought that was what was going to be was going to be it, and they were finally going to get their recognition of being worse than fucking Chicago, and it just never fucking happened.
I mean, I think it's just because in general, Chicago is a more famous city.
Right. You know? It's a more famous city.
I mean there have been multiple. I mean, well, it doesn't help that there are like TV shows that actually that talk about this. Like there's that one show with Kelsey Grammer called Boss or whatever. I think when he was like the mayor, and it was heavily involved. It was in that. There was The Chi, and there's been a few other ones where it's just like
The Wire,
horrible place.
The Wire. It should have been like, maybe we should start thinking about Baltimore. Like maybe, just maybe, they did 5 seasons of this shit. It was 5, right?
It was 5.
It was 5. They did 5 seasons of this shit, showing you the ins and outs of everybody on this in this here area. And how all of it's fucked up and it all needs to be changed. But how do you change it?
That was the thing about The Wire, is that like they didn't just show the hood. They showed it like some of these other areas in Baltimore are pretty messed up too.
Yeah, the guy, what's his name? David Simon? David Sampson?
David Simon, yeah. David
Simon. He did an interview with Dan Le Batard recently on the South Beach Sessions podcast, and he talked about like that. His intention was, no one's a hero, no one's a squeaky clean hero in this. Like the bad parts of this, they have their hero elements and they have their bad elements. The good guys, the cops, have their those two sides. The media have their two sides when they did the stuff about the newspapers. The people that worked at the docks, the education system and all of the stuff like.
Well, yeah, and then there was also the police when they created their own serial killer just so they could get funding.
Yeah. So like it's like no one is squeaky clean. And like how all of that stuff is, all of this stuff is basically it's all shades of gray. Right. And like and we as like stupid Americans, like we think of everything as being black and white, right and wrong, that type of stuff. But that's not where most of us live. Most of us live in shades of gray.
Yeah, I mean it's like we were all raised thinking, okay, these right here are the good guys, these here are the bad guys. But then, like, what The Wire does, it brings to light that, like, not it's not like that at all.
Right. There was a thing that he talked about. There was a thing where he talked about who was supposed to be McNulty in that. And I think it was supposed to be John C. Reilly.
Really?
He was supposed to be McNulty.
Okay. I don't know how that would have worked out, but
that was who was originally supposed to be McNulty.
Well, I know in like recent is like 15 years ago, but in recent times, John C. Reilly has played a lot of like dumb, silly like comedy roles. But he has proven that he can act.
Oh yeah, I've seen him in some serious stuff, and yeah, he's pretty good. Just like I never thought Steve Carell would do anything other than comedy, but then I saw him in that movie where he has to go bury his son. Like I saw him in that, and that was pretty good.
And then, we've seen it happen, especially with comedians. We've seen Robin Williams do it. We've seen because Robin Williams played that movie where he was a serial killer. Where he was a serial killer,
like the Photoshop guy or whatever.
Yeah, that he was fucking creepy.
Also, he was Good Will Hunting. Even though he was kind of funny in that. He wasn't.
Yeah. I was gonna say Patch Adams, but like in Patch Adams, he was still kind of a goofy.
He was in Insomnia as well.
That's the movie that we're talking about.
I thought you said
was he
1 Hour Photo.
Wasn't he? No, he said 1 Hour Photo. I said the movie where he was a serial killer.
Oh, wasn't he a serial killer in the photo? I don't know. I never saw it. So or he's like a creepy stalker or something. I don't know.
Yeah. But whatever the movies are, I mean, we've seen him do it. We've even seen Adam Sandler do it, which is kind of weird.
He was like
Rain on Me. He was in that. That was really good.
I've never seen any of this stuff because I don't watch Adam Sandler movies. Kind of like Big Daddy was kind of like the last one. Which came out last? Big Daddy or Little Nicky? Which one came out last?
I saw Rain on Me because Don Cheadle was in it, and he's usually good. But that was a really serious movie with like a really, really like just the tone of it was just really dark.
But yeah, I would say Big Daddy is the last of the Adam Sandler movies that I liked. I didn't really care for Little Nicky all that much.
I didn't either, but it was basically the same kind of Adam Sandler movie. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, and so like, I think whichever one was last, that was the last one that I actually really liked.
Uncut Gems was fucking really good.
You know what? He was so good in that movie that it took me a minute to realize, oh yeah, this is a comedian. This is Adam Sandler.
Yeah. I haven't seen it. It's on Netflix, right?
I think it's on Netflix now, but I don't think it was at first.
Yeah, I think I've heard it. And I remember Kevin Garnett saying that was his first movie that he played in. When he did that interview with when he did Up in Smoke, he talked a little bit about like his taking on an acting role.
I dug Punch Drunk Love too.
Yeah, there was that.
Yeah, see, I ain't never seen none of that shit. And there's the other movie that had the word Spanish in it and some, right?
I've seen that, but that was all right.
Yeah, see, but we've seen this happen. So like,
Yeah.
I don't think John C. Reilly could have been the McNulty that we know and love.
No, he would have been the same. He would have put his own spin on it.
Yeah, he couldn't have been McNulty the way that we wanted McNulty to be McNulty.
But yeah,
I started a Marvel movie rewatch with my daughter.
Mm-hmm.
So far, the only one that I have not fallen asleep on is the Avengers, and we watched that in the middle of the day. That's the reason why I didn't fall asleep. I have fallen asleep on we are finished phase 1. And I have fallen asleep on every single one of these movies.
The only one of those that I actually legit fell asleep on, like in the theaters, was Doctor Strange. All the other ones I was able to get through.
All the rest of them, like when I watched it, like maybe the first couple of times, I was perfectly fine. It's something about me being old and like watching these movies now that I've already seen. Some of them I've seen quite a few times, like the Avengers. You know how many times I've seen the Avengers? I'm a Joss Whedon stan. Of course I've seen the Avengers a lot. But like, that's the only one that I was able to stay awake through. And that's because we watched it in the middle of the day. Other than that, I probably would have fell asleep on that one too. I've been having this thing where I be sitting there watching TV. Next thing I know, I wake up and it's like 3:00 in the morning. It's just like, all right, I guess it's time to go to bed.
And I used to be to where
I'm getting old because that happens to me too.
Yeah.
I used to be to where if it was something I was watching, I would probably fall asleep. But if I could play a game and that would keep me awake. These days, even if I'm playing a game, I'm just like, I can't concentrate.
We're when we get to games, we are gonna talk about a game that I've been playing. I've been playing something different, and this game is not doing very well of keeping me awake because there's lots of downtime.
You finally got the Persona 5.
I did not. Actually, my daughter started playing Persona 5 again, and I guess she figured out a way past the wall that she went to, and she got stuck, and she asked me for help, and I'm just like, I never played this shit. I don't know what the fuck to do. So she's been playing a little bit. She was playing a little bit on the PlayStation, but she plays some Persona, and then she's back on Detroit Become Human right now, which is like her jam. She likes that type of shit.
Does that play like Heavy Rain in them, or
yes,
is it?
It's very similar to those. Very similar.
It's more like story driven, and you don't really do much, but you answer.
It's the same David Cage type.
Dialogue trees and stuff.
Yeah, a lot of branching paths. And like after you do a segment, it shows you the like flow chart of like what you did, and it shows you a flow chart of what's left that you could have done.
Oh, that's cool.
Just so you can, if you want to, you can go back and play it again and try to make different decisions to try to open up more of the flow chart. So yeah, I haven't played it. I kept saying that I was going to at some point. I was going to try. I loved Heavy Rain. I played it 2.5 times.
There'll probably be weird play. Is it weird playing Detroit now in the current like kind of like too close to home type thing?
Why would it be weird?
Because of the because you can go in certain ways to where like you're getting oppressed and like there's riots and things, and I felt the same way with like at the beginning. What?
Chase. The other two people on this podcast are people of color, and we feel this every day. This doesn't change. What's happening right now didn't change anything for us. Like the only thing that's different is you know it. Like that's the only thing that's different right now. I'm black.
Chase is like 2 steps away from like hugging you and saying, "I'm sorry, I didn't know."
Well, I didn't mean that part. I meant you know the civil unrest and
but like. Do you understand that to be black in this country, you feel the boiling of the civil unrest all the time? Like, and this isn't something that's new to me. This feeling isn't new to me. Like how these people are expressing themselves is not new to me at all. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I see the protests and stuff like that. And like, although I personally don't condone, violence and looting and rioting and all of that kind of stuff, but motherfucker, I understand it. I 100% understand it. It's not for me. It's, that's kind of like the same way that I feel about a lot of things. It's not for me, but I damn sure understand why it's happening. And this is something that we live through every day. Like we are people of color. The only thing that's different is now white people care, or white people seem to care.
But
So like playing a game like Detroit Become Human, is actually a break from my own mind. I could focus on the humanity of androids as opposed to trying to figure out why people don't acknowledge my humanity as a black dude. So like it's a welcome change to have to think about something else, to get to think about something else in this current climate. So no, it wouldn't bother me at all. Like, no, not at all. And I've sat here and I've watched her play, parts of it. And you know what? I don't feel anything. I don't feel anything. There's no allegory for me when I'm watching this, because I know what my life is. It's just someone just decided to take my life and make it about fucking robots. So like, you know what I mean? Like, so it's really not that huge of a deal. It wouldn't bother me at all to sit down and play it. But I think it would. I think playing something like that is kind of something for someone like you to play a game like that is basically the end of A Time to Kill. You know what I mean? Like you go through that whole game and you feel this way about these androids and stuff like that, and someone goes, "No, what if he was white?" Like that type of thing. or like like that type of thing. I think that would mean more in that vein to you than it ever would to me.
Okay.
The thing about this is this is a part of my daily life. I live in Richmond, where we have that big ass Robert E. Lee statue that people want to take down, and people keep fighting over it and stuff like that. And they want to take it down, and then a judge blocks it, and then like they keep going back and forth and blah 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 whatever. And it's just a whole bunch of shit. People just put fucking graffiti all over the fucking statue and the base of it now, and people go there as like there's all kinds of like Black Lives Matter and fuck 12 and all of this kind of stuff, and that's spray painted on the fucking statue and shit now. And I haven't gone. I have no reason to go. I know a lot of people have taken their pilgrimage to go and basically show this to their kids and all of this kind of stuff. And I'm just kind of like, I mean, this isn't going to mean anything to my kid. My kid wants to be an Asian teenager. So like, she doesn't have a fucking connection to this shit. So like, I try to make sure that she understands her blackness and what that means to the outside world. But at the end of the day, like, all she does is consume herself with fucking Koreans all the time. So like, she doesn't have the same, bless you.
Crack, man. Don't
she doesn't have the same, feelings about this that I do. And like, so for the most part, I talk to her about some of this stuff, but the rest of it, I just let it be.
Yeah.
And like, here's the thing about it. Like, when my daughter's not with me, she has to go back to one of these cities we just talked about. She lives in fucking Baltimore. So I mean, the county, not like the city where all of the wire shit happened, but like not very far away from there.
Is it raining in Baltimore?
How the fuck do I know?
Oh.
What?
The only person that I truly 100% care about is sitting right behind me in Richmond. So like, there's people that I care about in Baltimore, but not care enough to figure out what the fucking weather is today. Not to that extent. Like, as long as the closest I go to finding out about anybody else in Baltimore is you good. All right, then. That's pretty much just the extent of my knowledge about people that I know in Baltimore.
Yeah. Sorry, I guess it didn't land, but Raining in Baltimore was a Counting Crows song.
Why the fuck would I know that, Chase?
Because you seem like a person that liked Counting Crows.
No. No, not at all. I missed that boat. I missed that boat completely. I'm still kind of mad that I missed out the Stone Temple Pilots when it was actually a thing.
Yeah, you want to get into some consumption of entertainment?
Sure. What would you like to get into first?
Sam, what you been consuming?
Okay, first of all, I'm looking at my wall of my wall of Blu-rays, and I don't know if it's just my old age, but I don't remember buying half of these. Like, what the hell did I buy Caddyshack?
Why would you buy Caddyshack?
I think it was like a 2-for-1 sale, or like maybe I saw it somewhere for $5 or something.
Because Caddyshack is the greatest movie of all time.
I don't think I've seen Caddyshack, to be honest. Like, I've seen bits and pieces, like when it was on like cable or something like that.
It doesn't hit now. It's out of date. It's just so like if this generation wouldn't.
Well, here's something I've done with my Plex server that I'm going to probably do with more things, but I started doing it. But some of my movies that I know that I enjoy, but aren't like the greatest movies in the world, I'll search on Tumblr for fake Criterion covers for them and put
that's funny.
fake Criterion collection covers, and
Like,
I own 4 Ernest movies. I don't remember buying a single one of them.
who does remember buying an Ernest movie?
Ernest.
I think I had like 3 in my DVD collection.
I've listened to an Ernest podcast.
Ernest goes to camp, Ernest goes to jail, and then Ernest Scared Stupid.
Okay.
And I think there's another one I can't see. I'm blind.
Camp was like the apex, right?
That was like the only super serious. It's actually a good movie, like standalone by itself. You know, like it's a serious film because serious stuff does happen in that movie. Like he tries to be friendly with like the teenagers and stuff, and they pretty much make a mockery of him, and he gets his feelings hurt.
Well, there's a whole thing where it's like
so
got
sad.
this like anti-capitalist vibe to it because the like big corporations are coming to tear down the camp to like try to loot this mineral that they're going to sell to NASA or something. And
yeah. The way you fight that is by throwing food at them.
Yeah, and they literally blow shit up with toilets. Yeah. But yeah, I do have an affinity for Ernest because on that podcast they said, which is really true. Like it's a mix
podcast. Or that's what you were getting.
Yeah.
Okay.
But it was like the humor in Ernest is like highbrow mixed with lowbrow in a way to where like it seems dumb, but he's saying some smart shit, but like wrong. It's
kind of really, like 2 Chainz.
Yeah. Yeah, Ernest is exactly like 2 Chainz.
No, for real. If you pay attention to like 2 Chainz lyrics, it's like he was going to say something smart and then just said, maybe I should dumb this down a little bit. But like he's still saying something, but like he put it in a way that is palatable to his listeners. There's a lot of 2 Chainz lyrics that are like that. And it's just like, wow, this dude is actually really smart. Apparently he was really smart in school and he played ball. But I guess he put that into his music, but 2 Chainz is actually a very, very, very smart dude. And it has that same kind of what you were just explaining about Ernest in it.
Nice.
Okay, so what have I been watching? Well, I watched that Harley Quinn movie. It was, you know what? Over the years, I've learned to like not to grade movies like on whether or not they're Shakespeare. This was like a dumb, fun movie, and it was. Some parts were a little dark, but it was okay. It was all right.
Is it what people would say to where it's more of a Harley Quinn movie than a Birds of Prey movie?
It was straight up Harley Quinn. Like the Birds of Prey didn't actually get together until like the climactic battle. I mean, they were all in the movie, but it was 99% Harley Quinn.
But it was 100 times better than Suicide Squad.
But Suicide Squad was.
I didn't hate Suicide Squad, but then
it wasn't the worst thing I ever seen. Let's put it that way.
But then again, I saw Suicide Squad like way after like the like dumping on happened. So like I don't feel the same way about it as a lot of people do because I watched it after the fact.
My biggest gripe with Suicide Squad was that part where what's her name was holding that button. It says like, if y'all don't stop right now, I'm gonna press this button and it's gonna mess you guys up or whatever. Because they all had some kind of monitors or whatever. Why didn't Will Smith just shoot that out of her hand if he's such a really, really good shot?
True.
That was like my biggest complaint with that movie.
Yeah, that was one of the ones like we were talking about before. I watched half of it and fell asleep, but yeah.
So okay, well, so I watched the Harley Quinn movie finally. It was all right. Let me see what else. I watched the rest. I finally got through that Steve Carell, Jennifer Aniston show, the morning show or whatever, the one where Steve Carell gets Me Too'd. Yeah, it's on Apple. It's on Apple TV. I mean, nobody watched it.
Okay. Yeah, I don't have any Apple products right now. Except for I got an iPad 2 right there that ain't been used in years.
Like it's probably not going to get a season 2 because nobody watched this show. But
kind of like Space Force.
There you go. I heard the Space Force was really bad.
I heard Space Force is horrible.
I heard it was branded as a comedy, but it's more like a drama or something. I don't know. But anyway, Steve Carell gets Me Too'd, and then her and Jennifer Aniston are like co-hosts on a morning show. And after he gets Me Too'd, it pretty much what made it hard for me to get through the first time around when I first started watching it was that the first few episodes are basically Jennifer Aniston's white woman woes, which I did not care about one bit. Like her drama with her family and this, and they're trying to fire me. Poor white woman me, poor rich white woman me. And then they introduce basically like a bunch of characters of color. Some of the other anchors on the show, some of the lower tier people, and some of the production people are people of color, and their stories are actually really, really good. They go through a lot of struggles themselves. Like one dude is like this black dude who they keep promising him like the main anchor chair, especially after Steve Carell got fired. And instead they they basically hire Reese Witherspoon. And so he's like, why do y'all keep doing this to me? Blah, 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 blah. Like, y'all promised me this job and now you're pushing me to the side. And I don't know, he has his own story going on. And then there's some other stuff. But it ended up being actually really okay, except for like, when they focus on Jennifer Aniston, though, I was just out of it, though. But every time they focus on these other supporting characters, it actually turned out to be really good.
Word. And
that's pretty. And I've been watching Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. And that's
I've been watching Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
Have you caught up?
I have watched all the way up to, what was the last episode? The last episode that I watched was the one where they had to stop the thing from
going off.
Yeah.
Or whatever it was. Okay, there was. When Daisy kept on going through that time loop?
Yes.
Okay, when they killed off what's his name, I was kind of hurt.
Yeah, I felt it. No. I felt it because here's why I felt it. Because like all this season, he's been getting abused.
He's gotten the short end of the stick.
Yeah. Like, he's been getting like straight abused. And like when they came back to that one time and they called him just so he can relay the call to somewhere else. And he's like, I'm trying to talk to y'all. And they were just like, well, I guess I'll connect you. Like, I'll send it on.
It was messed up when he was the only one who was left behind.
Yes.
So decades have passed and he's still just there hoping to reconnect with them. And they're basically like, meh.
And then when they finally reconnected with him decades later, the only thing they want him to do is relay the call.
And then he goes and saves their skin by rescuing them in the 70s. Right. Which is actually funny. Is like, he was basically trying to say, come with me if you want to live, but he says it really technical.
Yes.
It was hilarious.
Yeah. I really like Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. And it's added to, I wish there was more of the crossover with the rest of the Marvel stuff.
Yeah, like after Winter Soldier, they kind of killed that. Yeah, they used to cross over the movies. Like Avengers, like the last time that they actually crossed over was the second Avengers film. Remember that place that they invade in the beginning of the film? That was like those were the people who they had been fighting in the previous season.
Right.
So they basically called in the Avengers to clean up their mess.
And so far I've been enjoying it. I hate that it has to go, but I know that it probably isn't doing what they expected it to do. at this point, so it's better to just go ahead and send it off.
Well, they pretty much killed it last season, at the end of last season, when they basically, like, the finale was supposed to be it. But then they were like, we'll bring you back for another season. And they're like, holy crap. So now they had to undo everything that they did. So the only way to do that is to go back in time.
Yes.
But I'm kind of hoping that we get to see Ward at some point.
Yes.
The rogue agent.
Yes, because I saw somebody, one of the people that I watch reaction videos of, he started from the beginning. He watched the first episode, and I was like, "Holy shit, it's Ward!" I completely fucking forgot about Ward.
Right, and then they brought back what's her name's mom, like, for this last episode. They brought back homeboy from Agent Carter.
Yep.
But they didn't actually bring back Agent Carter herself.
Of course.
Which is kind of what I wanted, because that's actually what they promised us. They're like, yeah, Agent Carter will make an appearance in the season. Yes. And I was like, oh, that'd be cool if they could bring her with them or something. But no, they brought the dude instead. I want to Ward.
But apparently, all of that is tied into because that actor, the dude, I know him from like Dollhouse. That actor, apparently he played in one of the Marvel movies, and they're like, how does this guy get from Agent Carter time to where he was in one of these Marvel movies? So basically they're basically writing that it is the same guy.
Okay, because they brought him back to the future, but they still killed the character off when they did that whole switcheroo or whatever.
Yep.
Okay.
Is some sort of fan service. Nice. But yeah, I really dig it. If anyone is to start the show starts off real slow.
Oh, it doesn't get good until maybe season 3, I think.
Yeah, about halfway through season 2 is when it really changes and like really becomes interesting. I think it doesn't change until the first integration, which is the chick from Thor. The chick from Thor, who also plays in another show that I have been watching, and it just had its finale. She has that, when they have that integration with the movies, that's when it actually starts being good.
And then Samuel L. Jackson only makes that one appearance in the finale of season 1, and then you never see him again.
Never.
But no, yeah, that's the one thing I want from this last season. I want Ward again. I want him back. He was one of the better characters.
It makes sense. Especially if they're jumping through time, they should be able to jump to a time where he is still one of them.
But yeah, that's pretty much what I've been up to.
You want to go? You want me to go?
Well, I haven't been watching anything, so if you want to go with watching, then we can go into games after that.
Okay, like I just kind of teased, Blind Spot just finished, which stars the chick who played, what's her name, Sif in the Thor movies. What's her name, Lady Sif?
I never saw the Blind Spot.
Well, she played Lady Sif in the Thor movies. But that show just ended, and it ended kind of weird. There's basically 2 endings, and they don't say which one of them is the real one.
Yeah, well, at least it's not like a come up with your own ending like The Sopranos. That still bothers me.
Or some real bullshit like.
Yeah, that's my problem with with games, to where there's multiple endings, because you're still like, okay, there's multiple endings, but which one is the canon ending?
That's
you know what I mean?
Different, because that's interactive. You decide. You pretty much made that ending yourself. With a TV or movie, it's like you have no control over it.
But even with games, like, you could have a ending which should be definitive, but it makes the whole fucking game worthwhile. I mean, not worth it. That game I'm not supposed to mention. That game, the military shooter, stars Kid from Kid and Play.
Which one?
What? There's a military shooter kid.
What game are we talking about, Scar?
The game I'm not supposed to mention because of EDG.
Which one's that?
The military shooter.
House Party 5?
The military shooter where you kill a whole bunch of American soldiers.
Call of Duty?
The American Soldiers.
Americans.
Mm-hmm.
What game are you talking about, man?
The game where the main character is having a nervous breakdown the whole fucking game.
I know what game you're talking about. I'm just trying to get you to say it.
No, I'm not going to say it.
I honestly have no clue. So.
I'm not going to say it. I'm not going to say it. Nope. Not going to say it. Because I fucking hate this shit. And people hold this shit up like it's great. And it is not. It is the opposite of great. It is the most... I mean, it's up there with... I think Killzone Shadowfall is like... This game is really a piece of shit. It plays well, but this game is really a piece of shit.
Military shooter with kid from Kid and Play.
I'm not going to say it. Chase, you can say it, but I'm not going to say it.
I don't have anything to drink. I already drink everything.
Yeah.
Oh, that one. Oh, yeah, I remember that.
Yeah.
I didn't know he was in that. But.
Yeah, he plays. There's the three guys of the squad, of the main squad, and he is the voice of the black one.
Yeah, I still remember when that came out.
Yeah, I like the game. Scar does not.
I think it's full. I think the ending makes that whole fucking thing stupid. I think it makes the whole fucking thing stupid, and everything you go through in that game is just like, why the fuck did I just play this? And that's the same way I felt about Killzone Shadowfall. I just like, why am I here? Anyway, Blind Spot ended, is really good. I enjoyed Blind Spot, quite a bit.
Is it worth binging? I'm sorry, because it's been on my radar just because like I've always wanted to watch it, but I didn't want to waste.
If you want something that's gonna hold you down for a minute, because like the first 3 seasons are like 22 episodes each. Like this is network TV show, and there's a bunch of filler episodes, but it all kind of comes together well. Like this current season is half that. It's like 11 or something like that. So they just wrapping everything up. I enjoyed it quite a bit, and I started watching it on Hulu, and I got the Hulu with the ads, so it's real. that I actually, because I really would like to buy the Hulu without the ads, but I just haven't.
You got that Disney Plus bundle, in which comes with
yes.
See, I remember when that started, because that started around the same time that like the Blacklist started.
Yes,
it's something that like I kind of I had to stop watching because every intro was turning into like Final Destination, because like something horrible would happen at the beginning and be like, oh, okay, on with the show.
Yeah, the Blacklist, I got through the first season. I started the second season, and then something happened. I don't know what happened where I stopped watching it, but I was enjoying the Blacklist when it was happening. I just, for some reason, I just kind of stopped, and I'm just
some of the episodes were just a bit much. Like, let's just say, for example, I don't remember this happening, but you see like a family having a family outing at Chuck E. Cheese or something, and then you come to find out that like the father is like abusing the child or something. Stuff like that. It was just like a bit much.
It was the first season was very Monster of the Week.
I think
and like for some reason this one guy is connected to everything.
Yeah, that's the weird part. That's like that's why I kind of want to keep watching it, but all that weird stuff with just like the darkness of it, it just kind of the dark tones.
I dig Monster of the Week, but I don't know about like people monster, like actual monsters of a week would be as fun as like say a X-Files or a Supernatural or like Buffy.
Like there's an episode where
I'm not talking about like literal monsters, but it's like
I know what you're talking about, but like I dig that kind of stuff. But I don't know.
There was this one where like this guy tortures this lady, and then you find out that like the lady is actually his mom, and she abused him as a child, so now he gets to torture her. Like that's a bit much for me.
Yeah, and it's very it's kind of like the first season of that is very similar to the first season of like something like Fringe, where it's like every week is just like, okay, this thing is happening this week and we solved this. All right, on to the next one that's not connected to anything.
Yeah, it's just like one horrible thing's happening after another, and it's just like
it's
just daunting.
Yeah. We'll continue with the Blacklist. I'm sorry, man. I cut you off.
Oh no, we just brought up Blacklist. That was not anything that.
Not Blacklist. Blind Spot. Sorry.
Oh no, I finished Blind Spot. I started Ozark. I started Ozark. I went on a trip a couple weeks ago. Stayed somewhere for a weekend, and I brought my Fire Stick with me, and was like, oh, I want to start something. Let's start Ozark, and we start Ozark. I really like Ozark. It is very kind of Breaking Baddy, except for
yeah.
instead of him making drugs, he's a launderer. He launders money for a cartel. But it's very kind of Breaking Baddy.
Yeah, I'd seen the previews for it, but then like I kept on reading reviews, and they were all like, "Oh my god, this is horrible."
No, I like it quite a bit. I was surprised how much I do actually like it. But yeah, it's really good. And apparently the later seasons get really, really, really good. But so I'm like 4 or 5 episodes in so far, and that's going really well. And then of course, like I said, I've been watching the Marvel movies with my daughter. I kind of want to do like podcasts and stuff like that with her about it, but I mean, she's lazy and like we haven't really gotten around to doing any of this.
And you are too.
Huh? No, it's just kind of like I'm willing to do it, but like she seems apprehensive, so I'm just kind of like I don't want to feel like I'm forcing her to do anything. It's it's something that I would like to do, but I don't want to feel like, no, I need you to sit down and build this fucking podcast right now. Like I don't really want that. I don't want that to happen. But I think it would be fun, especially when we came up with the music idea and then we exchanged albums. I listened to that K-pop nonsense. She never finished listening to the Miseducation of Lauryn Hill. So now we're at a standstill.
Wait, didn't you not like that album either?
Or were
you mad that she wasn't rapping?
No. That was Missy's album. Missy's album. Missy's first album was just kind of like she rap on all of these songs, and then all of these features. She was rap. You get the album, and she's singing the whole time, and it's like, what the fuck? What I say about Miseducation is I don't know whether my connection to it is different because I'm not a woman. But I don't have the same like really strong connection to it as like a lot of people do. Like I acknowledge how good it is, but emotionally I don't have that connection to it that a lot of people do because I don't feel like this because
you don't have those kind of feelings.
Right. I try not to have them at all.
Back in high school, like my girlfriend at the time, she was really into it, and I was just like, I listen to this and it's some good music, but I feel nothing.
Yeah. That's kind of how it is. Like, I acknowledge how great this sounds, but I can't understand how great this is supposed to feel.
Right. Like that song with D'Angelo, that was pretty good. That was one of my favorite songs for a while, but as far as feelings about it, yeah.
Yeah.
So when she was, when your girlfriend in high school was like, telling you all her feelings and stuff, where you're like, I hear you, but I feel nothing.
No, because I was too much in the Radiohead at the time to really, because like Radiohead in their early days, they were super emo kind of, and I was kind of in that way too. So
Radiohead. I mean, I know that you have very weird music taste, but like Radiohead.
Like OK Computer is super, super depressing. Like even now, I'm okay now, but I was listening to it the other day, and I was like, I need to turn this off because it's starting to bug me.
But OK Computer's so good though. Like
that's the problem that I have with the first Stained album. If I listen to any of those songs from the first Stained album, the song would be on, and I'm just kind of like, why the fuck I feel like I'm mad at my parents now?
Right? Yeah.
I think Stain gets a rep because of like it's been a while thing, and now he's like a trumper and whatnot. But I re-listened to that first album as well.
No! Before he went trumper, he went full country music.
Yeah, I know. But that first album, like the guitar tone in that thing is fucking nasty. Like it's some of the heaviest fucking guitar tone out of anything.
I thought Stained to me felt like the next evolution of what Korn was doing. it was, like, especially the early Korn where he was really going through some shit, reconciling himself with the abuse that he suffered that Jonathan Davis, reconciling himself with the abuse that he suffered as a child.
Yeah.
And like going through basically therapy through song. I thought that Stained was basically on that level. Kind of like, for black people, I got the closest analogy. Like when Mary J. Blige decided that she wanted to go away from all of the drama in her life, so she made no more drama and decided to move on. And then Keisha Cole kind of slid into that area. That's basically what I thought that Stain did to Korn. Shout out to black people out there. Yeah, I'm pretty sure y'all understand that reference.
Yeah.
Chase doesn't. Chase has no idea who these people are.
I know who the people are, but
He has to do some Googles.
I never quite, like hip hop, yeah, but I never quite got into the R&B.
See, that's the weird thing. Like, I was super into hip hop growing up, but when I needed to be emo and stuff, or when I was going through depressing times as a teenager, it didn't do it for me. Like, that's why I needed rock, because that kind of had it. I don't know.
Yeah, I think it was a lot of people's go to, especially like the Linkin Park stuff, where I think a lot of people connected to Linkin Park in that same way that we're talking about, especially like how they feel about their, who they are as a reflection of their upbringing. But it just seemed like I grew out of that and they didn't, so I had to leave Linkin Park behind. That's what happened to me with Linkin Park. Like, I felt like I moved on and I became a fucking adult and they didn't.
So that would be like if like Eminem still made that same kind of music he did in like 2000 or whatever.
Exactly. Yeah.
Eminem
could not make the same kind of music that he did in 2000 now.
Absolutely could. Absolutely could. Because he still uses the alternate F word in songs and all kinds of stuff. Like, he hasn't changed that much. It's just like he's become more of like, I'm Mr. Wordsmith, as opposed to I'm just gonna bitch about my mom and my ex-wife and all this other shit. Like, but like he still says some of the same shit, especially
I've never listened to any of his music, so I don't know.
I think the first 3 albums are, to me, they are classics. I think the first 3 albums are classics.
Well, the first album was so dark that I actually put it in with, like when it was out, I put it in with stuff like Korn and stuff because it was thematically similar.
Yes.
Yeah, see, I used to listen to him back before he even had an album, when he was doing stuff like Sound Bombing and Lyricist Lounge and all that stuff for Rawkus Records. And I was like, oh, this guy's pretty good. And he started doing this weird emo stuff with his albums, and I'm like, oh, yeah, I'm not with this.
Yeah.
Yeah, when it comes to, like, teenage type stuff, I think the music has to hold up above the emotion because we're not teenagers anymore. Like, there's still some, like, Midwest emo type stuff from the 90s that I don't really, gravitate lyrically to, but musically still, like, fucking holds up.
Hybrid Theory still holds up. It absolutely does. Hybrid Theory absolutely still. Meteora, not so much. But Hybrid Theory still holds up for me. I just don't feel that way anymore. So I can't really go there with them. But sonically, Hybrid Theory still sounds great to me. For all of the non emo teenagers and non-white people, Hybrid Theory was Linkin Park's first album.
All I know is that my old roommate in college kept on playing that stupid "In the End It Doesn't Matter," and I wanted to like throw him out of a window.
Well, I mean, if he's playing that song on repeat, he probably wants to throw himself out of a window too.
I would have helped him.
That's like the white people suicide song.
No, he would play it at night, like on repeat, like while he slept, and I was just like, "Dude, I'm gonna choke you."
Yeah,
he's like, please.
Yeah, that's the white people suicide.
Sorry, that's a bad joke.
See, I didn't know it at the time. I just knew it as a really annoying song because he kept on playing it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
but
He probably wanted to kill himself. All right. Anything else I've been watching? No, I can't think of anything else right this second. Oh, I did finish this very short show, but if you have Netflix, you should watch this shit. This shit, I think I might have talked about it last show, called Dr. Foster. Well, I finally finished that shit.
There's so much stuff on Netflix that I'm like, I don't know what any of this is.
Yo, Dr. Foster is the most messy shit you've ever seen in your life. Dr. Foster is, I can't remember if I talked about it on the show or not. But Dr. Foster she's a medical doctor. It's a British show. It's only 10 episodes. It's 2 seasons. Both seasons are 5 episodes. So you can get through it easy. And she's a doctor. She finds out her husband is cheating on her. And instead of like just saying fuck that dude and get rid of him, she decides to be messy, and she goes full on messy. And then the second season, they decide to be messy to each other, and it's just good messy ass television. And I mean, it is the messiest shit you've ever seen in your life, but it's really interesting. And like I said, it's a short binge. It's only 10 episodes total. So like, I say watch that shit.
Is that the extent of the series, or is that just what they got so far?
It's the extent of the series. 2 seasons, 5 episodes each. And that's it. That's all you need. I like British shows because they're that short. They get to the fucking point. Like they ain't no filler episodes. Like shit happens in every episode that makes you go, what? So bless you. Bless you. Because I'm pretty sure the microphone heard that. But yeah, that shit is the messiest of messy stuff. And I think if you got a little bit of time to kill, watch Dr. Foster. That shit is it is the kind of messy that The Stranger wanted to be. I like The Stranger. The Stranger kind of started off slow. But eventually they got to some stuff and it's a bunch of messy people being messy. But Dr. Foster is the messiest TV show I've seen in quite some time.
He's at Ponsol.
Very much needs Ponsol. Very much. All right, so we're going to talk games?
Sure. But yeah, I don't remember talking about this, so it must have been since the last episode, but I tried on the Xbox that Ace Combat game. Since it was on Game Pass, I was like, sure, this game looks graphically good. I don't know how good I would be at a flying game, but it's very arcadey, but like super. It's kind of like that whole thing with like Forza, to where like it's arcadey, but it looks like a sim, or at least Forza Horizon. So, but that's a super tight game. Like I only played one mission, but like the combat and the controls and everything looks fucking beautiful. And what's cool about it is that after you finish a mission, it will then replay that mission, but all cinematically, so it looks like a movie. What you just did is kind of cool. But,
so like you play it and then it looks like Iron Eagle.
Yeah. But I haven't been talking about my stint in Conan.
You kind of mentioned it.
But yeah, been playing that with some friends, and I like survival games are not my thing. But I think since I was with a crew that like are super into it, I'm just going in like they had all this shit for me, and we just roll in a pack and just kill monsters and kill, other people that are, well, not other people, but like NPCs that have stuff and take their stuff and put it in our base and whatnot. It's very brutal in a way, but the thing is, if you die, you lose all your stuff. It'll be like laying there on your corpse. So you'll respawn and you'll be naked, and you have to run through like a fucking desert naked. And Amber saw me doing that. She's like, "What are you playing? You're running through a desert with a 9-inch dong." But I'm like, "Hey."
Okay.
But yeah. So yeah, that's the thing. But you have 30 minutes to get your stuff back, so that's plenty of time, especially when you got friends and stuff. So it's not too bad. But I know for a fact I would not like that game solo. But it's fun with friends. It is a fun experience with.
So far, all I got is you run naked with a 9-inch thong with your friends.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, there was totally a time to where my friend was like, "Hey, well, if you take off all your armor, I'm going to take off all my armor and put it in on your horse saddles because I need to get this stuff up here or like this minerals or whatever, and you can climb faster without a bunch of armor on, which is realistic." But he went up there and I went up there, and then there's a bunch of enemies, and then he ran away. That all the enemies followed him instead of me. And there was a little hut that our the main guy that runs the crew or whatever made for us to, if we got in trouble, just to run into the hut and we'll be safe because the animals can't open doors. But he ran in there, but before he could close the door, all the rock monsters went in there with him. And they just fought him to death. So like, I was like, you should have not got naked. He was like, but I could climb. You know what I mean? It was like, you should have had my back. And I was like, dude, you were naked. And then so we had to sneakily try to get his stuff back from the little hut that was full of monsters. And then he got his stuff back. But that was an experience. So yeah.
Sounds like it.
Yeah, and then still more ESO, and starting to get back into Destiny 2 actually, because there's a new season, and I've heard, like, just from hearing Devious Mr. Matt talk, that the last season wasn't all that great. And I remember popping in a little bit, and I couldn't figure out what the hell to do in those public events that they had going on, and apparently that was a big thing for everybody. Nobody knew what the fuck to do, and it was just super complicated. I mean, people figured out what to do, it's just too complicated for it to be fun. But this season actually seems interesting because whatever happened in Shadowkeep is now coming, and I'm pretty sure everybody knows from trailers that the darkness is here, and you're going to be able to wield the darkness with the light. So you're going to use that, and so there's all these pyramids everywhere, and that's the whole thing, is you preparing for the coming of the darkness in this season, which is preparing for this new expansion called Beyond Light, which obviously start whittling the darkness, which actually seems really interesting. And they're bringing back the character the Stranger, which is a character in the first game that it seemed like that was a story that was going somewhere, and then however Activision had them chop up the game made it make no sense, and you're like, what the fuck is this character? Because it was in the beta and you thought it was going to be a big thing when you got the game, and then it wasn't. So that's coming back into play, and I'm actually pretty interested in seeing what the fuck they're going to do with the Stranger character, because that was actually a pretty interesting story arc that could have been, you know what I mean? So that's going to be fun, because, I mean, still to this day, no matter what anybody says about Destiny, nobody can deny that the shooting mechanics and stuff are anything less than superior to pretty much anything on the market. But it's just a lot of people can't get into the grind. But if the grind's fun, then you don't mind the grind. It's just when the grind's not fun, that's when it's not fun. Like, nobody wants to just grind stuff and it's not fun. So hopefully that's going to turn out good, and it'll be cool to get back into the whole Destiny. That's it for me. Everybody's so quiet.
Because we're bored. Like, that's, if you're being honest, I don't know anything about this shit. So, like, I have nothing to say. All right, so I played.
Thank you, Scar. You make me feel so good.
No, it's kind of like when Pitt would talk about about Bloodborne, like, and I'm just kind of like, okay.
Well, I didn't go into the mechanics of the thing.
But I'm just like, it's just kind of not my thing. And so I just kind of let you run. So I wasn't going to say anything to kind of cut you off. It just wasn't my thing. So, like, you talk about your MMOs, like, have fun, dude. All right. So I played a little bit of the Division 2. And basically right now I'm just logging into to the Division to get the weekly, exotic boxes. I'm not really playing the Division a lot, because I'm playing something else, which I'll get to in a second. And my daughter and I have played quite a bit of Rock Band. I got her on Rock Band so she could basically practice her drumming, and then I've been playing guitar. I know I'm getting old because like the act of holding, well, first of all, my little fucking adapter that is supposed, where I'm supposed to be able to use my 360 guitars, for some reason that shit doesn't work. And, apparently if your Rock Band shit breaks, you have no avenue to purchase any more Rock Band stuff. Like it is just gone. Like
So
you have,
I mean, you can get eBay, right?
no, like it's all like you try to buy a Rock Band kit on eBay, it's like a G. Like because all of these people know that like we have no other avenue to replace stuff, so they're charging ridiculous prices for it.
Oh,
Yeah, because what had happened was, this is back when I worked there. Like at GameStop, they stopped taking that stuff in, so people just threw it away.
but you
And
would
so
think
because of that, there's not that much left.
you would think that once they stop making stuff for Rock Band, you would start seeing like offshoot things that would work for Rock Band. Like kind of like you can find Nintendo controllers for your computer to play emulated games.
Yeah, you would think so, but no one has stepped up to that bat yet. So no one is taking that on yet. And so like I'm fearful that like I only have one set of Rock Band 4 drums. If these drums started crapping the fuck out, like they're not really the greatest. Like, come on, Mad Catz made these shits. So, they're not really the greatest in the first place, but if these things crap all the way out, I'm fucked. I can't play my game anymore. Unless I'm singing and I just plug in a microphone, but that's pretty much like I already have one guitar. Like outside of what I have for, like I said, my adapter thing stopped working, so I can't use any of my 360 guitars anymore. So I have 2 Rock Band 4 guitars, which I'm not a fan of Rock Band guitars, but one of them doesn't work. You can only upstrum, you can't downstrum at all. And so like I only have one guitar I can use. And I have the drum kit, I have several microphones, so that shouldn't be a problem, but at some point it will be a problem. It just kind of sucks because, I really like playing Rock Band, and I have a lot invested in the Rock Band. I have over 400, basically 500 songs. In this game, most, a lot of it was DLC and like me purchasing the packs from the previous games to bring into this game. So like I have a lot invested into this, and at some point this shit is going to go away and it's not going to come back. And that's really sucky that I don't have any avenue to replace this unless I want to spend G's or hundreds of dollars. I'll say hundreds of dollars. But playing Rock Band has been really fun, but I'm old. And by using these guitars, I realized that I'm old because like I'll play for a little bit and I'm like, why does my elbow hurt? From holding the guitar up, like my elbow hurts. And I'm just like, yo, am I getting that old? And so like that's a thing. And then, the other game that I've played, I bought Ghost Recon Breakpoint.
You bought that one over Wildlands?
Well, it was the newer one. My cousin had it already, and he said, we can, this will be the next one that we do, because I'm pretty much exhausted for the recording of, Division stuff. So I got it. It was on sale last weekend. The base game was like $14 or whatever.
Right.
But because I knew that we were possibly going to record this so I could put the videos up, I bought the extra stuff with the extra DLC and the Sam Fisher episode and all of that kind of stuff. So I started playing the game. First of all, the game is fucking weird. Compared to the Division, like these two games are night and day. They have some similarities. Like they added a lot of Division stuff as far as like the loot and stuff like that into Wildlands. But here's the thing about Wildlands. For the most part, you're supposed to be creeping around and sneaking, and everyone knows I'm not a fan of sneaking. So it's just, so I'm most of me playing, I'm playing the game with my cousin still. And most of it's like, yo, can we go loud now? Because I don't like this sneaking shit. And that's pretty much what I'm asking every fucking day that we play the game. Can we go loud now? Because I don't like the sneaking shit and fuck this. I just want to kill stuff. And I'm assault, so I can withstand going loud. He likes to be the Panther, so he likes to sneak around. But I'm like, fuck this shit. I just want to go loud. 2, there's a map, but there's no GPS. So if you're in a car or a motorcycle, trying to figure out the road system to get where you need to go is like the worst fucking thing ever. You pretty much have to use a helicopter everywhere that you fucking go in this game. You have to. You don't have a fucking choice. And the helicopter, even though it is moving fast, because you're in a helicopter, it just feels so slow. Every time you need to fucking go somewhere, it's just like, all right, we're in a helicopter. We're just kind of sitting here, not really doing anything. And it's just long stretches of doing absolutely nothing. And unlike him, which I'm usually driving the helicopter, I can't even go into my menu and just kind of fuck around with shit because I'm driving the fucking helicopter. So, it's just long stretches of not really doing anything. One thing I do like over the Division is people are not bullet sponges. Where like if you come across a heavy dude with a minigun, like you shoot his helmet off, one shot to the dome, he's out of here.
Because that game's more of a game like Far Cry versus MMO like Division, right?
Right. Yes. So that's cool. All in all, I kind of like the game, but there's some things about it that I don't like. I really wish the controls were very similar to the Division, because I find myself pressing Division buttons because I played so much of that. I could probably change some shit around, but
well, that's probably just because you just got done playing a lot of the Division.
But like this came out after the Division was a hit, so
I meant because you just got done playing.
But like, why between these third-person shooters, why couldn't you make them closer to each other in controls? Like I get it. You have two different teams working on this shit.
Wildlands come out before the Division, so it's probably similar to Wildlands.
Yeah, probably. And I only played the beta of Wildlands. I didn't actually play the rest of the game.
Yeah, that beta was a shit show. That's what made me not want to get the game.
That's what made me not buy it. But all in all, I don't know about recording it. I played a decent chunk of the game, and I wanted to start over with a new character so I can record it. But there's so much downtime. I don't know whether it's worth recording at all. So that's the part that I'm wrestling with right now. I gotta take a pause for a second. You might have to edit this out. Hold on one moment.
Okay.
Alrighty.
You ready? Okay.
Yep.
All right, and I have one last thing that I need to discuss. I think that's all of the, that I played as far as games. But there's one last thing that I feel like I need to discuss. For anyone who knows, who follows me on Twitter, I kind of had a Twitter rant the other day after the Microsoft showcase, where I don't understand the gaming community, and I think the gaming community is fucking stupid. And we've had these conversations before, but it's just really gotten to a head to where it's like, I don't check Twitter very often. When I come back, it's the same people having the same fucking arguments. And it's just like, when the fuck does the community grow the fuck
I thought
up?
you were talking about how, like, The Last of Us 2, like, critically was lauded over, but then the users, it was like 3 out of 10 because they didn't like certain things, and it really boiled down to like they're playing politics in their games, and you're like,
that shit is stupid. But like, let's be honest. Like, we went through this a couple weeks ago. We went through this shit about Rage Against the Machine. Well, the world went through this. I don't think we talked about this on the show.
I don't understand that.
Someone actually complained about them being political.
Yeah,
because I could almost see that with The Last of Us, because some people might not have finished The Last of Us 1 or even played the DLC, but who the fuck has even listened to any Rage Against the Machine album or even song, even Bulls on fucking Parade, the most popular song by them, and said this band is not political? Like, what the fuck are they doing?
Yeah, who the fuck do you think the Machine is? Like,
they literally thought they were raging against a literal machine.
Right. Like, so who the fuck do you think the machine is? Like, duh. So like, people are just fucking stupid and want to complain about some shit. But like, what I've seen about the Microsoft Showcase, and like, the Microsoft Showcase is very, very focused on Game Pass.
Yes.
Which I think is a really good thing. And then when they showed Halo, granted, I looked at the Halo footage and I said, "Oh, it just looks like Halo." Like and it didn't look, it looked like modern Halo. But my problem is, like, a lot of people are just going the fuck clean off about Halo and stuff like that. But see, here's my problem. One, I have Game Pass, so I don't even have to fucking care about any of this stuff because all of it's coming to Game Pass at some point. Whenever it fucking gets there, I get to fucking play it and I don't have to think about it. So like, why would I even be mad at this? And then they said that Microsoft took away the option to buy Xbox Live because they're focusing on Game Pass. All right, cool. I already have Game Pass, so this doesn't bother me any, but I understand why some people
I didn't really like that because I definitely am a yearly subscription type of person. I just want to get my year over to where I don't have to worry about it. And
I think they got rid of the year pass. I think.
Yeah, because there's going to be a month where like, holy shit, where does $16 come from? Oh, fucking Game Pass. I mean, $16.
I mean, like I said, for me, it's different. I already have Game Pass. I pay for it every month. It doesn't bother me at all. But like, and I understand the people who are mad about them getting rid of the Xbox Live option. Because that means something, right? But like at the end of the day, like when it comes to like how people were feeling about Halo and stuff like that, it's just like, for the people who are complaining, but the people who also have Game Pass, it's just like, what are you complaining about? When this shit comes out, you'll be able to play it. You don't have to pay anything else. You don't have to do anything else. Just fucking play the game if you like it. If you don't, you don't. The same way I felt about Gears 5. I downloaded Gears 5. Have I ever actually played it? No. Because like, it was on Game Pass. I don't have to think about this anymore. So there's no point of me fucking railing against anything that I see on the internet and just going the fuck off.
There's no point of you raging against the machine.
There's no point of me raging against the Microsoft machine if I already have Game Pass. Like, and some of these people that are going off have Game Pass. And it's just like, well, why the fuck are you so upset? If it doesn't work for you, guess what? Game Pass has like 100 fucking games.
Maybe it's the quarantine thing and people don't have anything better to do, but like, yeah, I'm not a railer. I'm not like, I mean, I understand where some of them are coming from, but I'm not. At the end of the day, it really doesn't fucking matter. Like, I mean, cause, yeah, when I saw it, I was like, cause at first I was like, wow, this looks really good. And then, like, when he first lands, you're like, oh, this looks great. It looks like a more prettier, like Halo 1. Like, it looked more like Halo 1. But then when what I saw is when he was on the elevator and on the mountains, like, there's major texture pop in. And you're like, okay, well, this, like, I understand that happens in video games, but that shouldn't have been in your, like, showcase presentation, that part. You know what I mean? Just put, but a lot of the stuff I really did dig. Like, and plus I'll get to play it because Game Pass, but,
yeah, my thing is this. For the past few Halo games, I have had an absolute problem with the Call of Duty-fication of Halo.
Yeah, that's the one thing. When I was like seeing it, I was like, man, this looks like Halo 1. They might be back to form. And then all of a sudden he started sprinting. And I was like, fuck.
Yeah. But for the most part, it looked like Halo returning back to form.
Yeah.
And so like, we only seen this one little part. We have no idea what any of this stuff actually is going to be when it's all said and done. And I don't see any point in going the fuck off about this right now. And I get it. Like, Sony has all of these exclusives and stuff like that everybody loves. And like, I don't get the whole point of fucking exclusives at this point. I don't fucking understand it, because when I went, a few times a year, I actually turn on my PlayStation. People aren't playing the exclusives. They're, when the exclusive comes out, they're real hot and heavy for about 2 weeks. And then everybody goes back to playing the same third parties. They're all playing the 2Ks. They're all playing the Call of Duties. They're all playing, the Divisions and all of that other shit. Like, we're all playing the same third party games. So, like, you think that your exclusives make your box worth more than my box. Okay, cool. Eventually I'm going to have both. So, like, I don't, like, that's another thing. Like, most of us are adults and we can buy both if we want both. So, like, what's the point of railing against the shit now, especially if you're going to buy the shit anyway? Like, if you're going to buy it, shut the fuck up. Like, if you know that you're going to buy this thing eventually, shut the fuck up. And, like, yeah, PlayStation has exclusives. Most of those are single player games, and I'm not a single player kind of guy. Like, you know what I mean? I'm a co-op kind of guy. That's the kind of games that I play. And I even responded to, and don't ask me why. Don't ask me why. But
Tell me why.
I responded. Stop it. I responded.
Jeez.
I responded to a post from Hip Hop Gamer.
Did you get like a bunch of his minions attacking you?
No, actually, because what I had to say was clear and concise, and they couldn't twist it. You couldn't twist what I said. He was just like, with all of with everything that the PlayStation is offering and the Xbox is offering, which one would you rather buy? And I said, Xbox easy. And I'll read you what I wrote. I said, Xbox easy is where my friends are. I'm social, so single player exclusives don't appeal to me. I will get them both eventually, but we all know 2 weeks after an exclusive launches, we'll all be back on third party game. Get what your people got until crossplay is more of a thing.
That's what I try to explain to people when, like, people like at work or whatever, or just anywhere in my social circle. They're all like, "Oh, why do you have an Xbox?" Or "Xbox is stupid, man." I'm like, all my friends that I play games with have Xbox, so I'm gonna get that too.
Yeah, and the PlayStation is good for certain things. For me, even though I have a few friends on PlayStation, most of them just leave me the fuck alone. The PlayStation is a solitary experience for me.
Yeah, like I wrote an article about this when I was writing for Married Gamers. There was like a period where all I had was a PS3, and I wrote something titled "Alone on an Island" or something, because that's how I felt. Because like all my gaming friends were not around at all.
Yeah, and I have quite a few. I don't have nowhere near as many PlayStation friends as I have on Xbox, because once I started podcasting, my Xbox friends list was always full. But so like they pretty much leave me alone. I can't sign. If I sign into my Xbox and I am online, someone's going to hit me up and want to play something. And there is never a time where I can sign on to my Xbox and there's not at least 20 to 30 people from my friends list that are active playing something. And the moment I appear online, someone's going to send me a message. It happened when when me and my cousin were playing Breakpoint. The homie Build sent me a message. It was like, "Yo, can I play with y'all?" It was just like, and it was just so random because I don't really play very many games with Build, but Build just sent me a thing. It was like, "Oh, y'all playing that? Let me play that." And that happens to me on the Xbox. And it doesn't happen on the PlayStation. The PlayStation is completely a solitary experience. And to me, that's what the PlayStation is good at. I can go to PlayStation when I basically want to hide and just want to play games.
Yeah, like the only time I remember people actually hopping on the PlayStation to play something was when Mag came out.
Well, for me, the Killzone 2 was a big thing.
I remember when Mag came out and like everybody was on it, but nobody was using the voice because their voice sucked.
Yes,
and everybody was on Skype.
Yes. That was the thing. But I think the only time that my PlayStation community was engaged with each other online was Killzone 2. I think that is the time that I was actually playing games with people the most. There's been times when I play games. I know, that the homie Laid Back, primarily uses PlayStation. And he's actually doing, making YouTube videos. I should probably link the YouTube videos in the show notes instead of linking the podcast that he doesn't do anymore. That should be a thing. Hopefully I remember to do that. But so like there's been times where I would be playing like Killing Floor or something like that and be like, yo, I want to get in. Let me get in, like that type of thing. But it's rare in PlayStation world, especially when you're playing these exclusives, and most of these exclusives either don't have multiplayer or the multiplayer is something that no one wants to play, like the Uncharted multiplayer. Who the fuck wants to play Uncharted multiplayer?
Yeah.
So
I never understood why those games had multiplayers, but then I've heard from people who like them that they are solid, but it's just not what I don't think of multiplayer when I think of Uncharted or Last of Us. Like, just think The Last of Us had a multiplayer. I was like, really? Like,
yeah. Yeah, it's supposed to be The Last of Us, not the rest of us. Like, you know what I mean? Like, multiplayer is the rest of us. Yeah, all of us. Actually, that's the show title. At first it was, why the fuck should I know that, Chase? But now is
wasn't that a Dwayne Martin TV show with Tisha Campbell?
That was called.
I don't know.
I thought you meant it was called Why the fuck should I know that, Chase?
Oh, well, that too. That was a subtitle.
I think it was something like that. But yeah, I just think that the gaming community is fucking stupid, and like it's just like, yo, like I stopped calling myself a gamer because I just couldn't be associated with these motherfuckers, and like I just. And then I go on Twitter, and like when all of this stuff is happening, all of this social upheaval and like the president being a dickbag and like all of this stuff is happening, and you're like, fuck Microsoft. What the fuck? Like people are literally fucking dying right now because of this fucking virus and all of this other stuff and these protests, and people are protesting, people getting killed, and all of this important shit is happening. And it's just like, no, Halo looks awful. Let's talk shit about Halo. Fucking Domino's Pizza got in on the Halo thing.
Oh, I saw that. Is that what that was? Because I was like, that looks,
yes.
I don't know what any of that stuff is. So I'm like, okay.
It's probably, like I said before, like a escapism. Like let's and do what we like, and have a console war, because console war is less, makes them feel bad than like real life.
Okay. All of us starred Dwayne Martin and Lisa Ray. That's who it was. All right, continue. Okay. Sorry,
Lisa Ray, half sister of the Brat.
Really, I had no idea.
Yep. And the Brat just came out of the closet a few months ago.
Oh yeah, that's been some time.
No, she just actually officially came out the closet a few months ago. Like we all knew.
But he's gone.
Oh, never mind. Okay. I don't know what just happened, but we all knew about the Brat. It was just like she didn't confirm it until her girlfriend bought her a really nice car for her birthday. So like she pretty much had to, if she wanted to tell people about the car. So she pretty much had to come out the closet. Speaking of coming out the closet, my girlfriend is watching a show called The Girlfriend's Guide to Divorce or something like that. And it has the brother from Angel, the dude to play Gunn. Please tell me that y'all have watched Angel.
Chase, he's talking to you.
Yeah, I mean, I watched the anime, but I can't remember.
The black dude, Gunn.
Okay.
The black dude. He's pretty much the only black dude. Yeah. As a main character, black dude. But that dude just came out of the closet too. But he plays someone gay in this. He plays someone like really gay in this. But he just came out of the closet too.
Okay, I'm looking up the black dude from Angel. Charles Gunn, played by J. August Richards.
Yes, he just came out of the closet recently.
Uh-huh.
which
he was on Agents of Shield. He was
what you call it?
he was a cyborg, wasn't he?
Yes,
Forgot his name.
yes, absolutely. He was on Agents of Shield. As what's his name? I keep thinking Deathlock, but that's a band, right?
Oh, that's Death Clock.
And he's not Deathstroke. It was what is his name in Agents of Shield?
I remember the character because I remember him from Deathlock. I remember him from the comics. I remember Deathlock from the comics.
Okay, so yeah, he did play Deathlock. So yeah, all right.
Yeah, Stroke is DC.
Yes, I think I'm done. I just wanted to say that because I felt really strongly at the time to say something about what was the gaming community stuff. Like, it just really bothered the shit out of me that it's just like, yo, we're really just here. And like, we haven't moved past this. Like these, a lot of my friends and stuff like, I've known these people for 10 plus years at this point, and we're still having the same conversations. 10 years later, we are still in the exact same place. I don't understand this.
You should see it as like a comfort thing. Like, all this stuff is changing. The world around me is changing. But this is the same, and be like, at least something remains the same.
Yes. I don't know. It's just, yeah. So like, when I really want to rant about something, that's pretty much when I go to Twitter, until someone told me, especially the last rant that I did about people with Discord servers that really abuse the at everyone. But then someone told me that I can turn that off, and I've been very, very happy with my Discord life since I went through each one of the Discords I'm a part of, and I turned off at everyone. And I turned off messaging for most. I only receive messages for two. I receive messages for the one that I'm in with the bros, and I receive messages when someone, and that's any other notifications. So I don't know. Some people are just really kind of overdoing it with the Discord thing, and I don't understand it because Discord has pretty much gone the way of Facebook groups.
I used to be on some Discords, and like some of the ones I was on had so many members that even in the general chat, like if you want to be up to date, you have to scroll throughout the whole day because people are just posting so much stuff.
Yeah. It's a little bit too much.
It's like the two extremes to where it's either completely crickets or it's like so active to where you unless you're just on it all the time, you're never going to keep up.
Right.
Like, that's the two extremes.
But you posted the August thing to our Discord. So we're taking signups for August. August starts next week, and we'll be weekly for August. And then we'll go back to our 2-week thing after August is done.
Yeah, I wonder what, like, people love that shit. I mean, it's good that people love the August, but that's the one time where, like, people really come out, because I posted it on Twitter, but again, like, got the most responses on Discord. Because
the Discord people are already, like, in. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, they're already on the inside of this, so it's just like, hey, we should do this. I really should reach out to Rashani. We need to have Rashani on the show.
Yeah.
I think that could be fun.
Yeah, that's why on Twitter I said, like, I added a couple of people that I know that are staples, like Chaffee and Fred Rojas, but, like, I said that it'd be really cool to have some new faces, on the thing, so it's not the same. Not that we wouldn't welcome, all the people that we normally have, but it's also cool to have some new guests.
And I think for the recordings, if we have two people and Sam is off work like he is today, then we should probably go to Hangouts.
Okay, yeah.
Because we can't do more than 4 here, so that in that case it would be 5.
Right.
So we should do that. Also, reach out to Max, yo.
All right.
And we'll try to see if we can fill this thing up. So yeah, I think that's it. Anybody got anything else?
Not I.
I have nothing.
I totally didn't watch that movie we were supposed to watch for this show.
I didn't watch it either. I don't remember what it was.
It was that was it The Old Guard or something like that? That new Netflix movie with Charlize Theron, and they're like immortal or some shit like that, and they whoop people's asses. It seemed like it was going to be a cool fucking movie. And I was already going to watch it until I decided on the Marvel rewatch, with my daughter, which, I mean, that's kind of going to go away because my daughter will be going home.
I thought it was like to where like you were going to watch it until I felt obligated to watch it, so I didn't watch it.
A little bit. A little bit of that, but I felt like the Marvel rewatch was more important to me because I was doing it with my daughter, as opposed to watching the movies with my daughter was more important than me watching that one movie by myself.
Right? Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's one of the reasons I started getting back into Destiny 2. I can play with Amber, which it's very rare that I get to play a game with her. Especially now with the 2 PCs and stuff.
Yeah. That's dope. All right. So, for the homie Sam and the homie Chase, this is Scarcasm. I'm Scarfinger. I hope you are well, and I hope you're healthy. Shout out to Fanios who beat COVID.
Yeah.
He survived it. And everyone else that's still dealing with this stuff, and I'm wearing my mask and stuff like that because I don't want to get this shit. Even though at first I didn't quite believe in it all. I was just like, you know what? I'm going to wear this fucking mask anyway. And I even had to cut my beard down. Like, my beard is so short because of the fucking mask. I miss my beard being, like, so I can fuck with.
I mean, mine doesn't.
You do the whole bandana thing. I'm sorry. I can't wear a red bandana. Do you know how much I put myself at risk by walking out the fucking house with a red bandana on?
Really? Well, you can get a white one.
No, I go green. I got a green one. I got a green one. I can still rep for the Grove, but I got an actual mask. I would love to be able to make some masks and put something on masks.
You can paint them.
No.
Fluid painting.
No, because the paint would basically seal the mask, and I wouldn't be able to breathe at all. So
is that the purpose?
I mean, you're supposed to still be able to breathe. I want to get a mask, and I want to put the gaming community as fucking stupid across it. I think that'll if I ever make a mask, I'm making one of those. All right, so yeah, for the homies, this is Sarcasm. We're out of here. Peace out to the Warriors, yo. I just refrained from doing the peace sign because I know I still do it as if we're recording the video, and it feels weird not doing it.
Later, young.
Good evening and good night.
I like that shit, yeah, boy. Yeah, I'm telling you, Whoa. I'm telling. All right, I ain't gonna talk.